everybody, welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm coming at you with a tag video today. I was tagged to do my 3 sentimental knives video, so I'm going to share with you 3 knives. Now unfortunately these are not the most sentimental knives that I have. A lot of stuff that I have is in storage, but I'm going to share with you 3 knives that are somewhat sentimental, but they're not my biggest ones. Now I was tagged to do this video by my fellow YouTube brother, good friend, bearded Seabee82, and also by Plumpy E. So the first knife that I want to talk about has a little bit of a story behind it. This is my Smith & Wesson SWAT Special Tactical. Now, excuse me, this knife obviously you can see is all stainless steel, and it's a little bit of serrated, excuse me. But this knife, it doesn't hold an edge very well, but it is very heavy duty, so it's one of those beater knives that you can really get heavy on. You know, you can beat on it and it's not really going to hurt the knife too much. Now the reason that this one has a little bit of sentimental value to it is because back in 2012 I was going through a divorce. I had filed papers and I used to use this as my everyday carry. And on the railroad they have a rule where if your blade of your knife is longer than 3 inches, you're not allowed to take that with you to work. So what I would do is whenever I'd go to work, you know, I would take this knife off of my hip and I would put it in the console of the truck, and then I'd go to work. I'd leave the knife in my truck just because of that rule at work. I think it's a silly rule, but nonetheless, that's what I would do. So during the divorce, my ex wanted the truck and I let her have it. I didn't really fight too much over things, so I let her take the truck. It was kind of hard on me because that was a truck that I had just paid off. It only had 40,000 miles, nice 4-wheel drive extended cab Dodge truck. But anyway, the knife was in the truck apparently, and I had forgotten about it because I had went to work and she had taken the truck to New Mexico. And then when my daughter came back, she had this knife, and she said that her mom had found it or whatever and thought that it would be good to return it. So I thought that was cool. So in that aspect, even though, you know, I filed divorce and we're going through this hard time in our life, a lot of adversity, I thought it was still pretty cool that she gave me my knife back, even though it's not really worth much. But so that, for that reason alone, it has a bit of sentiment to it. So that's my first knife and that's my EDC. Now my second knife doesn't really have a lot of sentimental value, but this one goes a lot of places with me. This is a very simple Mora Basic. This is a Mora 511 Basic. It has a nice little sheath, a little bit of plastic here. These are real cheap. You can buy these on Amazon real cheap. It's got a 3.5 inch blade, I think it is. It's not a full tang knife, but I like the blade steel because it's carbon steel, and the tang I think ends maybe right here where my finger is, like a 3/4 tang or something. But this knife I like because I can beat this thing up. The sheath is durable, the sheath is thin, so it stays close to my body, but this plastic just clips to my pants. And this is a good knife. So whenever I'm wanting to whittle some wood or something like that, this is usually kind of one of my go-to knives. You know, it's just a good little knife. You know, it's a good little knife, and it's always in the vehicle wherever I'm going or whatever I'm doing. If I need a knife, this is generally the one that's close, and it's one that I can really beat up and not have to worry too much about it, because if I break it, I'm out $12 or something like that, and I can order a new one on Amazon. So that's my second knife. Again, this is the Mora 511 Basic. It's a good knife, very nice little knife, cheap, good bang for the buck on this one. Now the third knife, we have to talk about Johnny Cash for a second. Now he had a song called "I've Been Everywhere." Now in that song, you know, he's talking literally about he's been everywhere, and that's kind of what this next knife is. This is my Tops Steel Eagle 105. I put a nice little paracord lanyard on it. Comes in a decent Kydex sheath. The metal clips to my pants. And you can see that this knife has nice micarta handle scales. Looks like there's some wood stuck in there. And it has 1095 carbon steel. It's 3/16 inch thick, full tang. Very good knife. This knife literally goes with me everywhere I go. Now this sawback area right here, a lot of people have the misconception that that sawback is designed for cutting trees down and stuff like that, and it's really not. It's more for making notches and stuff like that. If I try to take that sawback to a small piece of wood like this, it's just too aggressive to actually do anything effective. So like maybe this tree right here, you can see here, you know, I can kind of cut into the tree a little bit and cut like a little, maybe a notch to put some paracord or something through, something like that. Then the thing gets full of sawdust. But this is a good knife. It holds an edge pretty well. It's easy to sharpen, very durable. So if I want to baton wood or stuff like that, this knife definitely fits the bill. It's not too heavy. You know, I have another knife that's 1095 steel, and it's the Becker BK2, and that one's a 1/4 inch thick full tang. That thing weighs almost a pound. So this one being 3/16, it's a lot lighter, and it's still strong. It still has that strength to it. Look at those beautiful liners that go underneath the micarta. So you got some jimping on the top, jimping here. You got a nice thumb ramp, so that if you're going to be doing something, you got a finger choil area right here. You can also choke up forward if you wanted to get real close to do some fine work. You know, it's pretty cool. This knife is good for batoning. It's just an excellent knife. The handle scales made out of micarta, I like those versus G10, because G10 to me seems to feel cold. Like if I pick this thing up and it's been laying on the ice and I pick it up, the knife feels cold. But with the micarta, it doesn't really have that temperature feeling to it, so I really like it. It also, you can see I've got the lanyard here, so it has a lanyard hole there. Excuse me, there's another lanyard hole here, and then there's a third one right here. Now, why is that nice? Not that I would lash it to this skinny stick, but if I had a stick about as thick as this blade, maybe a 1-inch stick or something, I could lash this to the stick and make a nice spearing option. So this is I guess you could say a sentimental knife to me. Again, it's made by Tops Steel Eagle 105. Decent little Kydex sheath, nothing fancy. Just a basic Kydex sheath. Now I want to share one more thing. I know that was my 3 knives. This next one, I'm not sharing it because of the knife, I'm sharing it because of the sheath. And this is my Mora Aghar Berg with a custom sheath. This sheath was made by Jeremiah over at CP Kydex, country prepper, good friend of mine. He found out that I was doing my 40,000 subscriber contest giveaway, and I was giving away a Mora Aghar Berg. This knife here, not this one, but this model. So he contacted me and he said, hey, I'd like to make a sheath to donate to your contest. And I thought that was really cool, so I said absolutely. And he's asking me what color I want, what kind of stuff I want, and I said I need it to have a ferro rod, 3/16 to fit a Coughlin's ferro rod, and this dangler, I think they call it. I'm not sure. I think they have what they call a drop leg and then a dangler. I think this is called a dangler. But so he made a sheath that went with the winner of that knife. And while he was doing that, I placed an order for a couple more sheaths that I bought. And this was one of them. And I told him what color I wanted, what type of color I wanted. And I told him that I wanted a ferro rod holder, you know, 3/16 inch ferro rod. And I said, other than that, I trust your judgment. You make me the guinea pig. Do whatever you think. You know me, and you know kind of what I'm looking for, so whatever you want to experiment with, go ahead. I give you the green light to let me be the guinea pig. So what he did was on the bottom here, so it's got the nice, you know, shot cord holding the ferro rod on, which I thought was cool. That was definitely something I wanted. because I'm gonna be making fire. So that was really nice, turned out really good. And he uses this nice shock cord so you can hold that, so you got good ferro rod retention. You're never gonna lose that ferro rod. It's got a good snap to it. If you listen, that thing just clicks. There's no rattle to it. Silent. It's a beautiful, beautiful sheath. Everything's real tight. Drainage hole right there. But he added this. He added this thing, and at first I didn't quite know what it was. But what it is it's a tinder pouch. It's a place to put tinder. So you pull this little guy off. He knows that I'm going to be making fires, so he put this little tin in here, and I've stuffed it full. There's 3 cotton balls in there. Now I know that some of you out there are going to say, oh, that's not that much or whatever, but 3 cotton balls, there's a lot of times I can make a fire with 1/4 of 1 cotton ball. And listen to the retention here. You hear that? That baby just snapped into place. So he added that, and then he also cut up right here and he put some bank line on there. I thought that was cool too, because I can make twitch up snares and stuff like that with the bank line. So I really enjoy this sheath. It's sentimental to me. You know, it was made by a good friend of mine. It's more than just business with him, for me personally. Now there's some customers that cry because, you know, his sheath took a little time for him to make it or whatever, or the price was a little high or whatever. You know what? You're getting a quality sheath made by a great guy that's all he's trying to do is make sheaths to support his family. You can't go wrong. You know, if it takes a little time for him to get it put together, that's worth it to me anyway, because I'm getting a good quality product. You can't, you know, there's too many people, in my opinion, that think business is everything. It's just business. It's just, I pay you money, you make me a sheath. And with me, and my relationship with Jeremiah is much more than that. It's much more than me just giving him money and him making me a sheath. You know, I tell him, take your time. You know, I know that when the product gets to me, it's going to be a good one. So that's my 4th item, I guess you could say. So now I need to tag 3 people and asking them what their 3 sentimental knives are. Now originally my thoughts were I was going to tag my fellow YouTube brother Tactical. And I've tagged him before in some things, and I've done shout outs and stuff for him, but I don't know if he's just busy or what, but he doesn't really get the videos out. So I'm going to think of 3 different people that I think are actually going to get the videos out and and keep this tag video going. So the first person that I'd like to tag is Country Prepper himself, you know, Jeremiah. I want to see, he's got a lot of knives, and I want to find out what's sentimental to him. The second person I want to tag is Nathan4071. I think he'd have some cool input. And the third person I want to tag, let's go with the Smithy, Embarado Smithing and Woodcraft. Those 3 people. So you got Country Prepper, Nathan4071, he's the fire master, makes beautiful ferro rods. I don't have one yet, but I'm gonna get one. And then last but not least, Embarado Smithing and Woodcraft. I think those 3 are gonna keep this thing going, and I'm really curious what kind of knives are sentimental to them. So I hope you guys got some good, useful information out of this video. Please, excuse me, please feel free to leave your comments down below. Like this video, share this video, and if you like the content that you see on my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you, because I update videos quite often, and if you like what you're seeing, you don't want to miss out. So jump on that, subscribe. It's free, it doesn't cost nothing. So we'll talk at you later, folks, and I hope you all have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.